Are you coming back to school with me? We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson Wood. I'm your host on Teaching with Board Games, here today to take a look at Molly Mief by Haba. Now, Haba is one of my favorite game companies for the very young kids. They've got a large selection, a huge selection. I did a video a while back where I was investigating Haba as a company, doing a report on them, and I was amazed when I actually went into their site and looked at how many games that they have and materials and all kinds of things. There is just an extensive amount of games and products and stuff they have for the very young kids. So if this is something that sounds like it might be at all interesting to you, I would recommend checking them out. So Molly Mief is a game about a little skunk looking for some friends, but the friends are all hiding because Molly is a skunk and she's stinky. So it's a little searching game. You're almost like the Where's Waldo kind of thing, where you're looking for hidden things in pictures and trying to see who can find them first. But before I get too into it, let me take you to the report card and tell you what I think of the game. So in looking at the number of players for Molly Mief, I'm going to give it a B+. It plays between 2 to 6 players, which is standard is 2 to 4. So going a little bit higher than that gives it the B+. For learning from Molly Mief, I'm going to give it a B+. I give it the B+ because it's interesting to me in some of the things that you can do with this game. It's not so much the game out of the box. Well, it is the game out of the box, but it's just, in thinking of it as a teacher, what are some things that I thought of that I could do with the game as I was playing it? So first off, just playing the game straight, you're teaching skills like your patience, your concentration, where you're trying to make sure that you're not just quickly hitting the buzzer as fast as you can to indicate that you have the answer, because you really need to take time to look through the picture carefully to make sure you spotted all the instances of that particular animal. This will make more sense when you see how the game is played. In that, there's identifying, there's the subitization of knowing that I want 3. I see 3 of that animal, so I'm hitting the paw. The buzzer has 3 paws on it. So that there's that in there. So knowing your numbers, counting, and being able to identify the symbol with the 3 paw prints on it as 3 are all sort of simple skills that the game would be teaching. No reading involved at all. But then there's what you can do. The rules say there's this complication you can do. Like on one side of the buzzer is the paw prints, on the other side is a numeral. So for some added complications, you could be flipping those over during the game. One side to the other or whatever, just to make that extra complication and just extra challenge for the kids to be able to identify both the numbers in a configuration as a number. So 3 paw prints is 3, or the number 3. So that is something that you could be doing with the game. One thing I was thinking about when looking at the game is the idea of probability. Because if kids are just hitting one strategy you could be doing is just hitting one of the buzzers as fast as you can, just to see, that's it. I'm giving an answer, and there's a probability that you're right. But what is the probability? There's 5 buzzers. There's a probability of it being 1 in 5, like a 20%. But actually, come to think of it, there's instances too where there's 0 pictures of that animal in there. So in which case, then I guess it's 1 in 6. So which is 13% chance or something. So. Or 16, yeah, about that. Anyway, whatever it is, it's a lower percent than 20 for sure. So it's one of those things. So the kids can be trying, but their success rate is not going to be high if they're just hitting as fast as they can. It's not about speed. It's about taking your time, doing it right, and being patient with it. So for that reason, yeah. So I think the learning then, because it has those extra challenges in there that you can do to discuss and some launching points for deeper discussions around mathematics, I give it the B+. For fun, I'm going to give the game a B. It's one of those games which just the kids enjoy. I know a lot of kids enjoy doing the I see a lot of my students and my own kids have done books where you're finding particular things. How many pocket watches can you find in this picture? You have to find all the pocket watches and then those kinds of things. Same idea here, just very simplified because it is for very young kids. And the only thing would be just that whole rushing and being the first to get the thing. I know that some people, like my granddaughter, can be very happy when they're winning. but then very sad when they're losing. But this is, again, part of what we need to learn with games. And kids, I think, today need to learn that lesson too. It's just that losing is part of it. And sometimes we play a sport or a game or whatever and we don't win. And that's part of life. And I think that in itself is an important lesson to learn. So overall, though, I think it's a B for fun. For time, I'm going to give the game a B+. It says the game plays between 10 to 15 minutes, which is about the time you'd want to be playing with kids for this age. Anything longer, and they're just going to be losing interest. Anything shorter, and it's going to be kind of like, why do we bother setting this all up? It takes longer to set up than to play it. But so overall, I think it kind of hits the spot where it needs to hit if you're playing the full game. So that's why it gets the B, but the B+, because again, it's one of these games that if you are pressed for time or something comes up, you say, "Oh, we got to go. We're going to end it. The next person wins, or the next you play to a certain number of cards lower. Like it says that 5 cards is the winner. We could make it less if you need to. So there's the ways to modify the time length, and I like that in a game when it has that kind of thing. So that what puts the B+ for me. For cost for Molly Mief, I'm going to give it a B. I can't find it anywhere in local stores around me. I've looked in everywhere on, but now that's not to say that it couldn't get in stock if you talk to your local distributor. Like I know that Level Up Games has a lot of Haba games in stock, and so this is probably one they could get if it was requested. I don't know how much it is, though. I don't have any frame of reference because, like I say, I can't find it in any store. But looking at some of the other Haba games that Level Up Games has, I would guess it would be between $10 to $20. So, which to me is a great, is a good price for a game like this. I think you're going to get your money's worth out of it. And if the kids like it, then I mean, you're definitely getting your money's worth. I know sometimes when kids like something, they just want it over and over and over again. So this could be one of those instances where they want this game more than once. I was just lucky enough to have found this in a thrift store and so picked it up. So I can't really speak to the actual cost that you'd be paying retail, but like I say, between $10 to $20 Canadian would be my guess. Right, let me take it to the table and I'll show you how to play Molly Mief. So this is the basic setup for Molly Mief. You just want to make sure all of these buzzers are within easy reach of all of the players. You have the Molly Mief token itself. You have these cards on the back of which are pictures where the kids are going to be finding hidden animals. And then you have a dice which tells you what kind of animal that is you're looking for. So you have a snake, a bat, a cat, a chameleon, or they could just say lizard because chameleon is 3 syllables, spider, bat, and then duck. So you've got those 6 different animals that you're looking for. Now you should be noted that not all the animals are always going to be in the pictures, so that's something to be aware of. So what happens is one of the players is going to turn over the first card, like so, and roll the dice, and you're looking for ducks. So you look in the picture here, see how many ducks you can find. And it might just be like an eye peeking out or something. I'm not seeing any ducks. So in this instance then, if you're looking and there is no ducks, you grab the Molly Mief token. So whoever grabs that first, instead of hitting one of the buzzers, grabs the token. So that's what this token is for. So in the case where there is no ducks. Now, there is no answers, like there's no answer on the back or anything to say like how many ducks there are or whatever. So that's one thing. The players are just gonna have to come to an agreement. With different numbers of players looking, I would imagine that somebody would see the duck if they didn't. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, the correct answer is, so with me grabbing the Molly Mief token, I'm wrong, I'm out of the round. And so the other players have to look. The duck is back here. See that little blue thing there? A little bit of duck there. But you look at the duck, you see how it matches the beanie propeller he's wearing. So that is a duck there. And that's the only one I'd seen. But so there was one duck in that picture. So I would, as soon as I guessed wrong, I'm out of the round. And then the other players can have their chance to look. So whoever guessed the 1 would get this card, and the cards are worth your points. Then the next player turns over the card, and well, I haven't shuffled these up, so you do have different. So I imagine all these ones here are green, Yeah, these are all the green ones in the forest, but you also have, you know, in this fort here, and then there's an attic space or storage space or something. So there's different cards, so you can shuffle those up, and then you're looking for the chameleon in this one. Now you notice here, because remember we found the duck there last time. The duck's not always in the same spots. You know, you have to look for everything. So we got a chameleon there, and you know, chameleon there, chameleon there. Yeah, so I'm seeing 3 chameleons. Oh, and a little eyeball peeking out down here. So the kids need to take their time in looking at these things, not just hitting one quickly, because like as I said, your chances of success are going to be very low if you're just guessing every time. So being patient, concentrating, focusing on what it is that you need to do, finding those pictures, and then earning your points. The first player to 5 points is declared the winner. There are 30 cards, so if you're playing 6 players and all kids win 5 cards, well, I guess, how could you? It was the first person to 5. Anyway, it says something in the rules about, you know, if everybody gets 5 cards, then it's, I think maybe they're supposed to play the 30 cards. No, whatever it is, you're playing up till 5 cards, and that person is the winner. And that's how you play Molly Mief. So Molly Mief is a game I could see being played at home, at school, daycare, wherever. If you have young kids and you want to do something to be entertaining them, this is a great game to be doing it. And playing up to 6 kids at once can be a great way to keep a group of them occupied and in a fun learning activity that's is going to be helpful to them, both socially, educationally, etc. So I think it's a wonderful little game to be including, and one I would be looking out for. Definitely, you know, what you do is you set this up as a center. Now, if you don't like the fact that it's got those squeaky buzzers in it, then you could always just take the squeaker out. The squeaker's right down the edge, and just pluck those out, and it's not going to squeak. And kids, you know, having their hand on top, whoever has their hand on top, the first one touching the buzzer, I mean, it doesn't have to make the noise, right? So I know that's one thing sometimes I've done with some of my toys at home. It's like, oh, I don't know why it doesn't make the noise anymore. So so you can be including Molly Mief into your space where you have those young kids, and I'm sure you'll get your money's worth for it. So I do recommend this one. So that's going to be it for Molly Mief. If you have any other ideas for games you might like to see on the channel, other companies you know, like I've mentioned, like Haba is a great company for young kids. If you know of other companies out there that I should be checking out, then please let me know in the comment section below. If you have any other topics of discussion you'd like me to talk about, be it games, gamification, game-based learning, just topics of discussion or games to review, books, anything like that, leave me that message in the comment section below. Helps me to give you relevant content. And while you're down there, if you could please hit that like and subscribe button, it really does help the channel. And I really do appreciate each and every one of my subscribers that chooses to do that. And that is going to wrap it up for today's episode. Until next time, I am Craig Thompson Wood, your host on Teaching with Board Games, saying thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school?